Welcome to PPR Podcast number 217 of these suckers. Wow.
Seems like this just the second one.
Bert, you know our special guest, right?
I do. And a lot of people know him. Mr. Stevie Johnson played for the Buffalo Bills, then I believe the 49ers, and then you played for the Chargers 1 year too, didn't you?
That I didn't know. I knew you went somewhere. How long were you here for? 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year. Officially 2 seasons, but I played on the field 1 season. I ended up tearing my knee, and that was the last of my playing days.
You two look quite, I want to bring this up. You had him on Good Morning San Diego, and you look real chummy with him. Like a lot happier than when I do the segment, you look miserable. And then he was on there, and you look like...
Well, because you know why? Stevie has a positive energy, and he's just a delight to be around, whereas you...
Nah, Paul, Paul, you don't have to make up that. I was new. You know how it is when a new guy come in.
True.
You gotta make him welcome. You know what I'm saying?
So new pretty girl
you guys got that comfortable
Stevie,
energy. You know,
I
that's
was
the
immediately... You cast a very positive aura. Bert is like hanging out with Eeyore from Christopher from Winnie the Pooh.
Hey,
we'll never make
that's
it.
what it's like though when you got to run a business though, man. You know the San Diego Strike Force, and you know being a president and you know handling logistics and things like that. It can be stressful, but you know he's getting a lot of help and adding that delegation to his tool, and you know that's what we're here to do, helping and connect the community and engagement.
All right, well help me out geographically, sir, because you're living out here now, right?
Yes. I'm out here in I've been out here since 2015, basically coming to the San Diego Chargers, and I've just been laying low, you know, raising my family, and you know, just staying out the way here and there, going back and forth to Buffalo. That's where I have a great community there, Arizona and the Bay Area. But in San Diego, I was just really chill here until I met Jonte Berry, who was a former San Diego Strike Force player, and that's what ultimately got me, you know, back more involved with the passion that I love, and that's football, you know.
For some reason, I thought you were like, are you born in Kentucky? Or are you a Kentucky, or maybe you would play college there?
No, yeah, I just played college, man.
Okay.
So I'm from San Francisco, California,
okay.
And I ended up playing high school up in the Bay Area in Fairfield. And I went to junior college in Hayward, California, which is where our kicker, Ernesto Lacayo, ended up playing high school ball at. And from there, junior college, I went to Kentucky, you know, so I was, you know, sightseeing before I ended up making it to the NFL.
Well, you know, you have an interesting story I don't think anybody really knows. You're homeschooled, and then your high school didn't even start football till like your junior year. They didn't have a football team?
Yeah, and some of it was by choice, though. You know, it sounds cooler now, but some of it was by choice because I showed up as a freshman to, you know, try out and see about the team. But before I even got on the field, people don't know, before I even got on the field, I seen guys like Bert out there, and they was like, Stevie, come on, you coming to play football? I said, yeah, nah, I'm about to go play basketball. So I developed a love for basketball for those early years, and then it wasn't until I transferred, a new school ended up being built in Rodriguez, and that's when they had the team, and that was the first year I ended up playing. I didn't get intimidated basically by, you know, the big Berts out there, the Bert Grossmans out there, and, you know, one thing led to another is you just develop a mindset that, you know, you can be the one. You can be the one to overcome, and, you know, one thing led to another. I went to junior college, like I said, in Hayward, and then from there, you know, another thing, you got to conquer that level. And then one thing led to another. I ended up going to Kentucky. And, you know, things just continue to happen, man, thanks to the divine presence.
Yeah, you know, going to Kentucky, if you're a basketball player, that's certainly something. As a football player, not as much. I mean, your whole career is about overcoming obstacles, overcoming odds. There is nothing.
Indeed.
I mean, you were 6th, 7th round pick? Help me out.
Seventh round pick. You know, the funny thing about it? The funny thing about it is I would always watch like documentaries on TV and get on the internet and see about how people made it, but I was always interested in what they went through, you know, and I always would see like where did something go wrong, or how did they do a failure, how did they overcome it, and I never wanted to be a part of that. I never wanted to have something to fail and then have to overcome, but it naturally happened when I made it to the NFL, and that's what I ended up becoming even more known for, you know, through social media, as that new kid who's tweeting his thoughts out loud, talking about God. He dropped the pass. It was just a lot of learning that I had to do and that I absorbed, which helps me now with my walk with the Arena League and with development with guys in Exposure Academy through Club HBHF in different states. So I'm just thankful to be a part of these situations that I've been in, and to be able to help guys like Bert and the San Diego Strike Force with their players and their mentality. So hopefully they can overcome this 0-2 start and get back onto it, because we still got a whole 3 quarters.
You got to bring the 0-2 start up, don't you?
Oh, come on.
Hey,
we got to. They got to be held accountable. And that's where you get your toughness and you see who's real. Be held accountable.
Hey, you touched on it. The tweet. I think it was like 2010. The tweet where was it the Steelers? You dropped that pass.
Yep.
And then you kind of tweeted out. I don't remember the exact tweet, but I remember the response. It was you kind of like blamed God, said you're a man of God, and then how could he let you drop the? Well, how did that go over?
Exactly. It went over. For me, it was nothing. We have therapy sessions even to this day. Things ain't perfect. But when I put it out on social, that was something new for, I believe, the fans of the NFL and the community, because the NFL was so strict. Social media was new. You had to wear certain things. It was just strict. And then now you got this kid and me who's coming in, celebrating, having fun, why so serious style. And then I miss a pass. Something negative finally happens. And what I do from there is I revert back to what I was thinking as a kid. What do these guys go through? What have these guys gone through? So with social media being a new tool, I put my thoughts out there. This was my thoughts, building up to the season. I went heavy into the religion, and I just thought, but I was still a little ignorant though, because I thought once you go to religion, everything becomes perfect in a sense. And then when that happened, it's like, okay, I beat this guy, I'm wide open. How do I miss this? You know what I'm saying? Nobody can guard me. And then, so how do you let this happen? And this is my thoughts to the world, to this social media tool. It was Twitter at the time. And, you get a response of, good and bad. But I put the tweet out and then I just let it go. And I'm back on to, trying to be better for next year. I would feel sad and everything, but I was just put it out and I'm on to the next. That's how I was utilize that tool, and it got deeper than what I thought it would be. I did not know it was going to blow up to all of that, but it is what it is. I was just, just connecting with the fans, connecting with the community in that sense.
The one other thing that I always remember about you, well, your route running I always remember, it seemed like you got fined every single week for like some crazy celebration. You had the Calexico Burrs thing where you pretend like you shot yourself.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't,
that's a crazy one.
If it wasn't that, you were bringing up
on one celebration.
You were bringing up T-shirts with something written on there. I think it was, but like usually I remember when we played, we didn't make too much money. So you got fined once, you never did it again. But it seemed like you just kept doing it over and over.
Yeah, I was hard-headed, and that's how I was growing up too. From Pop Warner, R.I.P. to Dwayne Osteen. He was my first Pop Warner coach. He was an NFL guy. Played with the L.A. Rams, I believe it was, and or L.A. Raiders. It was I don't remember exactly, but man, he would get on me about celebrating. I've seen Deion do something high-stepping from the 50, so let me go do it. That looked like fun. This game is hard. It's tough. Why not have some fun when you're being successful at it? So I didn't see nothing wrong in it, but I've been getting in trouble for the longest about celebrations. And when I got to the NFL, it was the same thing. But Bert, it's like when you make it to the NFL, you feel like you're Superman in a sense. Like, this will last forever. I will never be touched. So when I did get fined, it wasn't like, oh yeah, they got this money from me. Okay, hey CJ, my agent, can you appeal this? And I'm about to go do it again because I'm not doing nothing negative. That was my hard-headed stubbornness. Like, I'm not doing nothing negative. Yeah, I did the thing with Plexico, but he's still on the team. He's making money. I'm saying? This is not that disrespectful. I'm just bringing the entertainment back is what I was thinking.
Oh, no, I
I paid a price for it, but I was for the fans. I wasn't for myself and, I'm getting fined. It was just for the fans' entertainment.
Wait, so the Minuteman rifle shooting yourself and going, that was for the fans?
Yeah, that one was personal because the Patriots actually, they scared me. So I was on the sideline talking to Donald Jones about a play. Hey, look, when we get to this, you go over here and they end up scoring a touchdown and they shot the guns off, and oh man, it made me jump. So I'm like, okay, I got something for him. So that next series, hey, it's God, yo. I give thanks to God too. He put me in a position to score a touchdown that next series when I told Donald, okay, I got something for him, and I went out there and had fun with him. Got in trouble for that too, but that's for the fans, man. That'll last forever. This money is go come and go.
Well, let me ask you about that money. Put a number on it. Have you added up all your fines over the course of your career? What did it cost you in the end?
Well, I would say around 100,000. I'm not gonna say nothing crazy because we appealed a lot of them too, so I would just say like the amount total would probably be around that, but how much they took from me, maybe half of that, so it's nothing crazy. I feel like that's probably an investment is what people tell me. Why it's so serious? Yeah.
$100,000, that's a Mercedes, a high-end Mercedes, dude. I know you guys are in different water than I am, but that's still a lot of money for Joe Blow.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like you were saying though, when you getting it every week, you don't really look at that 100,000 like, oh, they got me. It's just a call to your agent, like, hey, tell them to cut this off or something, and hey, you a warrior mentality. I need to go do more. I need to do more. I'll make more. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now if I was doing something, if I'm doing something derogatory, something bad like that, then I would be thinking about the celebrations and all that stuff. But I didn't see it as a negative thing, and I just continued doing what I was doing.
All right, I'm gonna bring one other thing because I went to Pitt. What is going on with you and Darrelle Revis on social media this last couple of weeks?
Yeah, man, it was something that just got to a point where I felt like I had to at him in a sense. I seen him talking years ago. And I never posted anything about Revis. I always gave respect. People send me messages all day about how you did this and blah, 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 and you whatever. And I would never like it because I don't want to like it and have it go into my community as if, I'm stunting on them. So, he ended up replying to one of my friends like a few years ago, and he's just talking about all of the stuff that we was doing on the one-on-ones and stuff that we had. Again, I didn't jump in at all. I didn't do nothing. I reached out to him to say, let's work out. Let's do some things together and develop these young athletes. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't send no response to me. Okay, cool. So everything's good. Now, a couple weeks ago, someone else somebody posts something about his highlights. A guy got on there and he talks about me in his highlights. Revis jumps in and talks about me disrespectfully, but this guy didn't even at you. So how are you talking about my name to this guy who didn't at you, but when I at you to do something positive, you don't do nothing, you don't, respond at all. So I just had enough of it and, just had to add him and let him know, like, hey, when you had your opportunity to play one-on-one versus me, you're supposed to be the great, and you backed off. Here's a clip. You know what I'm saying? Every time you tried to guard me, you couldn't handle me. So here's a clip. You feel me? Since you've covered better people. Yeah, you probably have accolade-wise, but the real no. You look at the tape, you couldn't handle me. You had one interception on me, and that was an underthrow that I beat you on. You feel me? So, the disrespect of him to be talking about down on my talent when I've never done anything negative to him, was just like a boiling point for me at that sense.
Everybody from Pitt's like that. They're just terrible people.
Yeah, and it's just a defensive mindset, I felt like, but I couldn't let him keep talking reckless because I felt like it's just going to get more and more reckless,
In the conversation of the greatest corners ever, is it him in prime time? He's in that conversation, right?
Yeah, he's in that conversation.
For sure, absolutely, no doubt about it. Like, he got the skills, Prime got the skills, Richard Sherman got the skills.
Oh, I forgot about him.
There's a lot of guys, Asante Samuel was talking. They're competing and comparing each other. Like, look, y'all all great. Everybody great. We should all be giving everybody props in a sense. There's so many more beyond us and way better than me. But acknowledge that or don't say nothing at all and just keep it cool. And that's all I'll say. But he chose to degrade what my skill was, I guess. And a warrior got to defend himself in some sense, and it's only on the internet. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I think you have to tackle better than Deion Sanders tackled to be considered one of the greats.
That's why I put Eric Allen on there too, because he did both.
Eric Allen, yep, he was a stud.
Primetime was
Rob
great.
Woodson, Charles Woodson.
Woodson. He would stick his nose in. Deion kind of was he made some business decisions.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, that wasn't his game. I mean, but he would have been a great offensive player. I mean, all right.
That's why I love Deion, because he played both sides.
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
I would see him on offense and defense. Like, who is this dude?
Right.
You know, that's what I liked about it.
But let's talk about you. I want to talk about HBHF and how how you're now taking that slogan and using it post-career as a way of mentorship. And you have an aura about you that kids I assume flock to. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, HBHF was something that I created with my wife, something that's bigger than me. You know, I always looked at myself as a tool, you know, or like a test run for something, you know, and that's exactly what I dove into. I said, I don't want people to remember my legacy as, Stevie Johnson. Remember it as HBHF, you know. He's sparking minds to handle your business, have fun, then repeat. You know, and what we did was we wanted to be different. I wanted to partner with people who had that same mindset. So what we did, this was 15 years ago. About 15 years ago, because our girls are now 17 years old now and they're earning scholarships. But what we did was we started the girls flag football back in the day it was co-ed, you know, and this was in Arizona. How did that come about? It was a guy who was transitioning out of the league. He didn't want to get back in the NFL, but he still wanted to have his foot in the door with development and kids and youth. So I'm like, okay, look, let's start HBHF in Arizona. Put the team together, get the community together. Peace of mind for him. One thing led to another. We become like one of the best teams in the nation. But fast forward, and now those girls that we had started with years ago when girls football was not even thought about, now they're getting scholarships. Now they're nationally recognized. One of our girls was the girl who was on the Super Bowl, Kilolo. We got Samaya Taylor, Maddie Koger. So many girls. Paul, you met one of our newest members in Naomi, and you see what she did on a social. She's only 14, so she wasn't even born at the time. But HBHF is something that, you know, we do nationally, man. In Buffalo, we have children's books. Is everything. It's not just sports. Sports is just it's just like the Trojan horse. It's just the Trojan horse, just to attract them. And then once they come in, we teach them everything else through our partnerships that we create in the community.
You wrote a book, right? Children's book?
Yeah. We have a few. We have a few books out there. We got some on Fitzpatrick, Fred Jackson, Eric Wood, and myself. And we're looking to add some more.
Do you read them to Jonte? Because I know he can't read.
Hey man, John said he can't sit still for too long to listen to the book. He's on to the next thing. He's always active out there in the community. But that's another thing, you know, just speaking of these names, partnerships. That's huge, you know, because you're stronger together at the end of the day. We can do it all on our own, but you know, the success rate is slim, and the failure rate of you losing out on it a lot more is high. So, you know, working together and piecing things up is the way to go. The only difficult part is being able to communicate certain things, you know. And, you know, I don't want to bring up the 0-2 start with our team, but that's what we're missing right now. We're missing some form of communication within the team to get people to snap out of it or something. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're still getting acclimated with each other as new teammates, and that's what I'm seeing right now.
Hey, I guess a lot of people don't know, you were a high school coach for a little bit. We do a high school football show that's pretty big in town. You know, you got Weddle now, Nick Barnett. You ever think of maybe you want to be a San Diego head high school football coach at any time?
No, man. I only wanted to do that just because I wanted to give back. You know, I wanted to. It was around COVID time, and you know, I was developing minds. I never stopped developing minds doing camps and combines. But when I got out of the NFL, I had more time, and I wanted to go back to my school. You know, as a player, you always want to go back to your school to do something. So that was one of my first experiences, and you know, I learned a lot, good and bad, and I just saw a lot of what these kids and what people in the community needed. You know, I dove headfirst into it, and you know, one thing led to another, and you know, that's where I ended up establishing more HBHF because more guys start coming out of the league and retiring, and you know, needing that transition. Then things ended up going well, but I'm cool with the high school coaching. We on to something else now.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know that because when you take on that, you're taking on then
Everything.
the parents
Yeah.
and the admin.
Yeah.
And if you get in the right situation, it's smooth sailing. But if you don't, it's a lot of work.
Right. And I really had that love for the kids and the athletes and development. So when they go off, it's like I have to deal with this new group. But I'm the type that I want to just be with them all the way through, because I believe in these kids that you guys can make it to the league. I feel like every single one that can make it if they come working under us, because I made it without any of this. You know what I'm saying? So just listen to what we got to say. And that's the hardest thing with the kids. Like, they either don't listen, they're just distracted. Sometimes at home isn't put together, you know, so I start learning a lot. So that's why I jumped into the Exposure Academy and the Club HBHF mindset. And, you know, again, Bert, you helping me, you know, be able to expose, you know, what we're doing to more community, more people in the community, linking up with Renew. You know, they're trying to get more involved with San Diego Strike Force and community. But when we say community, we talking about really getting into their mind, you know, letting them know that we're together and not individuals. From little things like barbershops, you know, you would think they're all together and cool, but no, they're competitive and they're competing with each other. But little do they know, let's come together, create events together is better, is easier. You know, you get more exposure, more community mass. And those are the little intricate pieces in being in the community that I actually love. So, you know, this is a great opportunity for San Diego to come together behind something like the Strike Force, because it's not just football, it's more than football. You guys have podcasts. People want to know everything that you guys are doing. So there's plenty of segments that can be done.
Stevie, when you look at the landscape of today's youth in the year 2025, what are you encouraged about and what are you worried about as you look at today's contemporary student athlete?
Yeah, I'm encouraged that they're able to learn how to be bosses. You know, they're able to learn how to take advantage of their own destiny in a sense, you know, because of the access of the internet. You know, you can see how people's lives are. The day in the lives are out there a lot, the vlogs. You can see firsthand how a person can go from 9th grade to 12th grade, and with a little bit of exposure and some charisma on the field, you can become an NIL player from not being known, you know, about marketing. That's what I'm encouraged about. You know, it's all at your fingertips. You can see that. You don't have to just listen to your parents and try to believe them or figure out how did this happen magically, how I was thinking. But what I'm, you know, kind of scared of is that same access, you know. You can get caught up in it. You know, you can get caught up in it, and the kids, then they end up seeing this one kid get this offer, they get it, and now they want to, you know what I'm saying? It's like the follow type thing, and you got to have a certain mindset to really disassociate yourself with the internet, you know, and get down to everybody's situation is different, it's not the same, you know, and you got to make certain sacrifices that you don't know what they made, you know, because the internet can only show certain things. So that's one thing that's scary, but it's both natural things. That's good and bad. So, you know, I'm for it. We just need more leaders in the community raising these young kids to have that awareness and mindset, because that end up becoming great teammates and great people in the community.
Hey, as we got to wrap this up. There's some training going on here, so we have to cut this a little short. But my last question to you, sir, you have an aura. You know, I work with Eeyore, as I mentioned, and he just casts off this
negative.
We'll never make it, Paul. We'll never make it. But when I'm around you, I feel upbeat. Yeah, I can lose those extra 5 pounds. You have an aura, and I'm wondering, is that a God-given, or were there people in your life that said, hey, keep your chin up and fight the fight?
Man, it was both. It's God-given mostly, because it's a passion that I have. You know, I don't even know what I'm going to say, but it's a passion that I have to expose my good and bad to somebody, because I understand what it can do in the future. I understand that people have thoughts. Everybody got crazy thoughts, you know what I'm saying? And some people, they don't get to speak it. They think it's just between them. And that's one thing that I developed in high school. You know, that's why I say it's God-given, because when I went to go coach high school, that was just for me to say, hey, I went back to my alma mater. You know, yeah, I did that as a former. And then I met kids that was thinking about suicide things, and they wanted to be too tough and couldn't talk to people. So it's like, man, I'm here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So that helped that kid, that person, that family. And I developed the bond with them to this day. And that was back in 2020 during the height of dang near COVID. So, I would say it's a little bit of both, because my wife, I give shout out to her. She the one who pushed me to get out in the community here in San Diego, because I've already known Jonte, but I didn't want to get out there, but she was like, go out there, man. You got to do this stuff. Somebody might need your help. Somebody might need to hear it. So get out there, and so here we are. Not to mention Andre Reed and Teresa Reed, being the connection out here, and that Buffalo Bill vibe, being inspired by him. Also, that's a testament to you also, Bert, because you was in the media long before I was doing all of this hybrid fusion stuff, even with Reed, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, we motivated by y'all too. So I wanted to give that shout out to Reed, because, they heavy out here in the community too, and they was inspiring me while I was playing. Dre was, in a sense.
Are you in a Russian card room right now? What's going on with you, Brad?
Nah, yeah, we in the alley right now. We do little community events here and little private jump offs here.
It does look like a Russian poker room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paid the man. Paid the man his money.
Paid the man his money.
All right, Stevie,
it's been good. It's been good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them high school weeklies. That's something I'm interested in.
All right, you're gonna love it, man. You got to do me a favor, because we're going to wrap this up. Can you send me any pictures that you own that won't get me sued for using them on social media of your favorite NFL poses, anything you have, of which your coaching or your camps or your playing days? If you could send them to me, Bert, you're gonna get off the phone and give him my address, my prudy@kusi.com.
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
Okay, cool.
Prudy, and don't be shy. Send me as many as you can, okay? Because I'm gonna, Stevie, I'm gonna start working on this as soon as we hang up here, and I don't want to have to wait around until 6 o'clock at night to get pictures. So if you can send me as many as you can, please, I'd appreciate it. I know the stuff we're going to talk about. That tweet. Can you send me that tweet that got you in trouble? The one with, what was the tweet you were talking about?
He blamed God for dropping.
The God tweet. Can you send me the God tweet?
Gotcha.
All right, so those things, pictures and the God tweet. Meanwhile, Stevie, as we get closer to the football season, I'll be in your ear, dude. Wait until you see this high school football show. You're going to be blown away. It's unlike anything. Trust me, it's really good.
Looking forward to it.
All right, PPR Podcast number 217 is over. Turn off the machine. Stevie, send me the pictures. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Peace.